So once you have your budget theory sheet customized for what you all need, and you've agreed upon the set budget that you're going to use and the different categories, then we're going to actually proceed with actually using the budget. So I cleared it out, but again, let's pretend we're using an income of $100,000. It will fill in, and we're not living beyond our means because this is actually at 100% of our spendable income is what we've scheduled in these different spots. Okay, so once I've done that, it's filled in my budget into the columns, the monthly budget, and on each month it's filled in the given budget for each category. So next you might want to change the partner names. That way when you're looking at your entertainment each month, instead of remembering who's partner one and who's partner two, it will say what your partner's names are. And so let's say we have John and Alex, okay? John's entertainment and Alex's entertainment. Then when we're looking, like I said, at every month, it now will tell us, okay, this is John's entertainment money and this is Alex's entertainment money. Okay, so once you're on this overall page, these things will fill in. I encourage you not to touch anything unless it's highlighted in blue, because you might mess up some of the Excel formulas. However, the things that are in blue are costs that are fixed and really shouldn't change from month to month, so you can manually enter them in. For example, we've budgeted this much for our mortgage. You know that's what you're going to spend. So if you're spending $14.85, then every month when you pay your mortgage for that, you can fill it in. Same thing with insurance and phone. You know what those are month to month, just fill them in. They're different than something like groceries where you might not know. It might ebb and flow a little depending by what you get each week, okay? And then same thing with all of these. These things should be pretty standard so you can manually enter them, okay? So when you're using the budget sheet, all of these other things that are not in blue, Excel will do all of the work and the math for you, okay? So you can see it's February 19th when I'm recording this. So let's go to February. Let's say that I went grocery shopping today. So what I would do is I would go ahead and put in the date that I grocery shopped. I like to put what credit card, because I use a lot of credit cards so that I'll build up free points and I pay them off right away so that I don't have any debt. But then you get rewards. So let's say I went to the store and I used my Discover bill. I would put J so that we know it'll be on Jack's Discover bill, my Discover bill, and I'd put D so we know it's on my Discover credit card bill. And then I'd put what store I went to for the groceries. That way, again, when I'm checking my Discover bill at the end of the month, I can see and verify that the charges on my bill are correct. Then I'd go ahead and I'd put the amount. Okay, so you can see when I do that, if we go back to overall, it manually calculated that. Okay, so let's say the next day I go to I spend my Discover and I go to Walmart and buy something, and I just buy, some milk. It's going to manually add it for me. So I'm just going to fill in as many spots as I need, and this goes infinitely on. So you shouldn't have any issues with running out of room. Because we divide things by different categories, sometimes you might want to split one charge into multiple categories of your budget. What I mean by this is, let's say that I went to Walmart and on the 21st, and when I was at Walmart, I spent $100. But not all $100 was on groceries. While I was there, I bought some hygiene items, I bought some razors, and while I was there, I bought some clothing. Well, I like to divvy it up so that I can help keep track and see how much money do I actually spend on clothes, how much money do I actually spend on hygiene. So I might choose to divide it up. So what I would do, and you can change this if you need, but I would put total was. That way when I'm checking my bill, I'm still going to make sure that the total Walmart had overall was right. But then on this charges column, I'm going to divvy it up based on what I spent of each category. So let's say I spent $50 of that in groceries. Let's say I spent of that on the 21st when I went to Walmart, of that $100, 25 of it was hygiene. And let's say that last 25 of it, I want to come out of my clothing budget. So again, I can help keep better track with how much money I'm spending on that. So again, I'm going to say it's going to be on my Jack's Discover bill. It's going to show up as a charge from Walmart, and the charge is going to say $100. But the clothing budget part of that was only 25. Okay. So then when I go through my credit card bills at the end of the month, I highlight things in green once I find them, and that way it just helps me to verify. And I highlight the whole cell in this light green so that when I'm looking through, I make sure that everything's in light green, all the charges came up appropriately. And if they didn't, I can follow up with the company to see what went wrong with the charges. Okay, so that's generally how I use this budget sheet. The nice thing is then ultimately it will all be on one page, and you can use this one page to see how you're doing, if you're staying within your means or if you're going extra, and need to adjust it because you're spending more in groceries but not very much in hygiene. Well, then we might want to adjust that down the road so that it better fits you and your expenses. The last column that is helpful to show you is our checking account one. And so this account, this really just serves to be like those old check registers that a lot of people kept, just a digital version. And so what you do is you would put your bank account name. So let's say you just opened this budget sheet today. You use Chase bank account. Okay, so this is my Chase bank account. I'm going to say my starting balance once I started using this budget sheet is $1,000. Then this is how I will keep track to make sure that I am never going to bounce a check. I'm always going to have enough money in there. So when I plan and schedule my Discover bill, I'm going to say Discover bill due, 3/11. So we're paying it February 2nd. I'm going to say that it's going to withdraw $387. And then when you pay on bills online, you get a confirmation number. I would enter that confirmation whatever there. And that way, if there's ever an issue, I can follow up and say, I paid it, I have the confirmation number. And I would do this with all of my bills and things to make sure that I'm keeping track of the money that I have planned to come in and out, and I won't bounce a check. Again, there's two things in case you have multiple bank accounts. And then what I do is once something has cleared the bank, I highlight the whole thing, that light green color, just again to help me keep track of what is planned and is to come, like American Express bill. I have what's planned here and not highlighted because it has not cleared my account yet, and the things that are in green are the things that have actually cleared and are done. Okay, this has been very helpful because there's been times that I've written a check for something and someone hasn't cashed it, and so even months later, since it hasn't been cashed, I didn't highlight it green, and it helps me make sure that I still am going to keep that money in the account for when they do eventually cash that check. So as I said in other videos, if you would like to set up a consulting appointment to talk through any issues you're having or to customize any features of this, I'm happy to do so. One of the most common things that is helpful for some folks once you're getting a little more advanced is to add a tab called a reconcile. And that tab is where we have some of our categories roll over. What I mean by that is we have, for example, let's use our entertainment. We have John and Alex's entertainment. Well, they each have about $130 a month. But what if John really wants to, use their entertainment to take a motorcycle class, but it costs $300? Well, then they might start saving up some of their entertainment and having it roll over from month to month. And so if of interest to you, I can help you design a reconcile tab where Excel, I'll design it for you. Excel will do all of the math for you to have whatever categories you would like roll over and help you build up a little nest egg in a given category. Okay?